The galaxy had always been quiet in this sector. Stars shimmered in orderly lines, planets spun with steady rhythm, and alien civilizations prospered without fear. Among these civilizations, the Thalari Federation was one of the most advanced. They had towering cities, fleets that could traverse light years in days, and knowledge of species scattered across hundreds of worlds. Yet despite all their power, the Thalari had lived under one strict rule for centuries: do not wake the humans. The humans were legendary. Their records were incomplete, almost like myths, but the Thalari historians all agreed on one thing: humans were dangerous. They were unpredictable, strong, intelligent, and capable of surviving in conditions that no other species could endure. They had once ruled their planet long before the galaxy became interconnected, but then they had disappeared. The Thalari assumed they were extinct, their empire nothing more than a memory buried under time and dust. Kyle, a young Thalari scientist, had spent his life studying old legends. Unlike his elders, he did not fear the humans. He admired them. He studied their history, their technology, even their behavior patterns. He wanted to understand what made humans unique. They survived everything, he told his colleagues: famine, disease, war, extinction events. If we can learn from them, think of the advantage for the Federation. Most Thalari were careful. They respected the rule. Some even feared it. Curiosity is dangerous, warned Elder Soren, Kale's mentor. Humans are sleeping for a reason. One mistake and we will learn why. But Kyle could not resist. He spent years tracing ancient signals and scanning the planet called Terra Nova, where humans were said to have lived. For decades, nothing appeared. The planet was silent, almost dead. Yet beneath its crust, Kale discovered something unusual: a network of buried machines glowing faintly with energy. They were unlike anything the Thalari had built. He knew this was it. The humans had not died. They had gone into stasis. They had planned to sleep, to wait until the galaxy needed them again. Kale's heart raced. He felt both fear and excitement. His colleagues would not understand, but he could not resist activating the machines. He told himself it was safe, that he could stop them if anything went wrong. He descended into the underground facility. The walls were covered with strange symbols, glowing softly under his lights. The machines hummed, and a faint vibration passed through the floor. Kale examined the control panel. Ancient letters and symbols flickered, responding to his touch. He did not fully understand them, but instinct guided him. A single lever, worn with time, seemed to hold the key. He pulled it. The hum grew louder, a low vibration that shook the walls. Lights blinked one by one. Slowly, the machines began to power up. Kale stepped back, awe and fear mixing in his chest. Then he heard a sound that made his blood run cold, a soft, rhythmic pulse like a heartbeat coming from beneath the floor. The humans were waking. At first, it was subtle. Shadows moved under the stasis pods. Systems that had been dormant for millennia came to life. Kyle watched, frozen, as a figure slowly opened its eyes. They were human eyes, wide and alert, shining with a light that seemed almost too intelligent, too aware. It was a young woman. Her hair dark and tangled, her body slender but strong. She moved with grace, yet every step carried power. Kale could not look away. She stared at him for a moment, studying him, and then her lips curved in a faint smile. It was not a greeting. It was recognition, as if she already knew what he had done. Other humans began to awaken. They climbed out of their pods, stretching limbs that had slept for thousands of years. Their eyes were clear, focused, and unafraid. Kyle realized something terrifying. They remembered. They remembered everything. He ran back to the surface to report the activation. Panic had begun to ripple through the Thalari cities. Scouts detected unusual energy patterns from Terra Nova, far beyond what normal planetary activity could produce. Fleets were mobilized, but Kale knew it was already too late. The humans were awake. The aliens tried diplomacy first. They sent messages, peaceful at first, warning humans of the rules, of the consequences of waking. The humans responded, but not with words the Thalari expected. They asked questions, sharp, curious, and precise. Why had they been left to sleep? What had changed in the galaxy? Who dared interfere with them? It was not hostility, at least not yet. But the Thalari could sense the power behind their calm. Every human moved with purpose. Every decision seemed calculated, and every action radiated intelligence far beyond normal expectation. Kyle watched from a distance as the humans explored the planet. They examined the surface, studied the alien technology, and within hours began repairing and adapting it. Machines that took the Thalari decades to master were modified and improved in ways Kale could barely comprehend. The Thalari Council grew frantic. They debated strategies, but nothing seemed sufficient. Their fleets, advanced as they were no match for human speed and ingenuity. One by one, colonies reported failures. Defense systems collapsed under human manipulation. Ships vanished without a trace, not destroyed, but taken apart and rebuilt into new forms. Kale wanted to warn the Council. He wanted to tell them that humans were not just another species. They were an event, a force of nature as unstoppable as a star-going supernova. Yet when he tried to speak, he was met with disbelief. They could not accept that a single human could outthink hundreds of Thalari strategists in minutes. The humans did not attack indiscriminately. They moved with intent. They scanned, studied, and acted only when necessary. Entire systems fell because the humans saw inefficiencies, vulnerabilities that no alien had noticed. By the time the first wave of panic reached the Thalari capital, thousands of colonies were already under human control. Kale's heart sank. He had not thought this far. He had been curious, reckless, and now the galaxy was paying the price. He ran back to Terra Nova, hoping to reason with the humans, to appeal to their logic, or perhaps to plead. He found them standing on a cliff overlooking a vast alien city, one that had once symbolized the Thalari's strength. Now it was silent, its shields dismantled, its ships grounded. The humans were not celebrating. They were observing, as if calculating the next step. Kale approached cautiously. "Please," he said. "You don't understand. You can't." A young human man turned to him. His eyes were sharp, intelligent, but not cruel. "We understand more than you think," he said. His voice was calm, almost gentle, yet carried authority. "We have slept long, but we were never gone. We are here to ensure survival, not chaos. Yet you forced our awakening. Now we must act." Kale's legs trembled. "You don't have to." The man shook his head. "We have no choice. You broke the rule." It was not anger that Kale saw. It was inevitability. The humans moved like a tide, slow but unstoppable. The Thalari fleets were the first to fall. Ships that had once dominated the sector were captured, dismantled, or repurposed. Colonies surrendered not out of fear but out of respect for the human skill. Resistance seemed pointless, even foolish. Kale ran through the crumbling city, watching as humans adapted alien technology effortlessly. Energy grids that powered entire planets were brought under control. Machines that had been impossible to operate for centuries now responded to human command. Every Thalari system that had relied on order and planning now seemed clumsy in comparison. He realized the truth. A terrible, unavoidable truth. The humans were not just a species, they were evolution incarnate. They could survive anything, adapt to anything, and overcome anything. The galaxy had been warned for centuries, and now the warning was reality. Kale fell to his knees. He had wanted knowledge, understanding, and curiosity. He had wanted to learn from the humans. But he had not prepared for the consequences. He had not understood the force he had unleashed. The Thalari Empire, once mighty and proud, was already collapsing. As night fell on Terra Nova, the humans stood quietly under the stars. They did not celebrate, they did not shout. They simply observed, calculated, and waited. The Thalari watched from the shadows, realizing that history had changed in a single day. The galaxy would never be the same, Kale whispered to himself, barely audible over the hum of alien machines. We should have never woken them. And far above, in the cold darkness of space, stars continued to shine, indifferent to the fate of empires. The humans were awake, and the galaxy had only begun to understand what that meant. The galaxy was no longer the same. Where once the Thalari Federation had ruled with confidence and order, there was now uncertainty, fear, and awe. Every system that had once thrived under alien guidance was silent, its defenses dismantled or repurposed. The humans had awakened, and their presence rippled like a tidal wave across star systems. Kale watched from the observation deck of Terra Nova, unable to tear his eyes from the unfolding events. The humans had not attacked recklessly. They had moved with precision, capturing strategic points without unnecessary destruction. Yet the sheer speed and intelligence behind every action had shattered the Thalari Empire. Entire fleets had been taken apart, then rebuilt into machines that outperformed anything the Thalari had known. The humans did not speak of revenge. They spoke of survival, order, and understanding. But their way of thinking was alien in itself, efficient, fearless, and relentless. Kale realized that the galaxy had misjudged them for centuries. Humans were not like other species. They were not predictable. They were not bound by fear or tradition. They were evolution in motion, and nothing could stop them once they had awoken. The Thalari Council convened an emergency. Elder Soren, once calm and commanding, now paced like a caged creature. We underestimated them, she admitted, her voice strained. We thought they were legends. We thought they were gone. We were wrong. Kyle stepped forward. We cannot fight them. They are beyond our fleets, our strategies, even our minds. We need to reason with them. The council turned to him, some with disbelief, others with anger. Reason? Soren snapped. They are not our kind of being. They are force incarnate. How do you reason with a force of nature? Kale swallowed hard. We try, or the Federation will be ash. Meanwhile, the humans had established a base on Terra Nova. They moved methodically, setting up command centers and adapting alien technology for their use. They did not waste energy on unnecessary confrontation. They studied, learned, and prepared. Every action was purposeful. Every decision reflected centuries of instinct and survival knowledge encoded in their DNA. A young human woman, the first to awaken, now led the operations. Her mind was sharp, her vision clear. She had studied the alien machines, deciphered their functions, and repurposed them in ways the Thalari could not comprehend. Her soldiers moved with efficiency, executing tasks faster than any alien team could manage. Kale watched her with both awe and fear. She was human, yet she carried the power of a civilization within her. The Thalari attempted negotiation. Messengers were sent. Diplomatic envoys arrived, all offering peace, compromise, and knowledge sharing. The humans listened. They did not refuse. They did not attack. But their silence was heavy. Their consideration was not simple courtesy. It was assessment. They weighed every word, every gesture, every action. Finally, Kale was allowed to approach the human leader. He entered the command center, a vast room filled with machines, glowing panels, and humans working in quiet efficiency. She turned to him, eyes steady and intelligent. You, she said simply. I am Kale, he replied, voice trembling. I caused this. I awakened you. I thought you were extinct. Her gaze softened slightly, but her voice remained firm. You should have known better. You broke the rule. We are awake because of you. Kyle bowed his head. I am sorry. I did not understand. Please, there must be a way to make this right. She studied him for a long moment. Make it right, she said. The galaxy has changed. The rule was in place because we are dangerous. You underestimated what it means to wake humans. You underestimated us all. Kale felt a chill. Then, you will destroy us? She shook her head. Not destroy, correct, teach, guide. We do not seek war. We seek survival. But those who oppose us, they cannot continue. Outside, the humans moved across alien systems. Colonies that had resisted Thalari control surrendered not because they feared annihilation, but because the humans were efficient, decisive, and fair. Systems that had been on the brink of chaos stabilized under human oversight. Trade, defense, and communication networks were rebuilt with speed and precision that astonished even the most advanced Thalari engineers. The humans were not tyrants. They did not kill indiscriminately, but they enforced rules with a clarity and firmness that the aliens had never known. A planet that tried to revolt was met not with bombs, but with a calculated demonstration of human capability. A fleet repurposed and deployed in minutes, showing what could happen if resistance continued. Kale could see it in every action, every decision, every movement. Humans were efficient but also fair. They did not destroy out of anger or pride. They enforced survival, and in doing so reshaped the galaxy. The Thalari Empire, once unchallenged, was now a system within a larger human-centered order. The Council, desperate and humbled, finally approached Kale. How can we survive this? Soren asked. Kale looked at the humans moving below, their calm efficiency unmatched. We adapt, we learn, we cooperate. They do not destroy those who comply. They reward those who work with them. He turned to the human leader. Please, he said, teach us. Help us understand how to survive alongside you. The human woman regarded him for a moment, then nodded. We will teach. But remember this. Humans are not to be underestimated. We are patience, we are strength, and we are intelligence. We survive because we must, and we enforce because the galaxy depends on it. Learn this and you will live. Forget it and you will be left behind. Kale nodded. He understood. The galaxy had changed forever. The humans were awake and there was no going back. They would guide, correct, and reshape. But they would also test every species, every civilization to ensure survival and progress. The Thalari had learned their lesson in the hardest way possible. The humans were not myths. They were reality, and reality was stronger than fear. In the weeks that followed, humans stabilized sectors that had once teetered on the edge of chaos. They repaired fleets, improved technology, and introduced strategies that no alien had conceived. The Thalari learned from them, studied them, and gradually adapted to their presence. Some feared the humans still, but most realized that cooperation was the only way forward. Kale continued to watch the humans, amazed at their abilities. He observed how they solved problems, repaired systems, and made decisions that balanced efficiency with morality. They were both unstoppable and fair. They were humanity, and they were the future of the galaxy. One evening, standing on a cliff on Terra Nova, Kale watched as the sun set over alien cities, slowly coming under human guidance. The young human woman who had awakened first stood beside him, silent but observant. "They could have destroyed us all," Kyle said quietly. "They could," she replied, "but that is not what humans do. We survive. We correct, we guide. You will learn this and your people will too. It is not mercy, it is evolution." Kale looked at her, understanding at last. The humans were not conquerors. They were forces of progress. They were resilience in motion. They were the galaxy's way of ensuring that life, intelligence, and survival endured against all odds. The stars above shone as they always had, but now Kale saw them differently. They were not just points of light, they were challenges, opportunities, and tests. Humanity would face them all, adapt to them, and ultimately endure. The galaxy had been warned centuries ago in a single rule. Do not wake the humans. Now that rule had been broken. And the galaxy, once filled with pride and order, had become ash to build something greater. Kale realized he was no longer fearful. He was in awe. The humans had awakened, and with them, the galaxy had entered a new era. An era of ingenuity, strength, and unstoppable determination. He turned to the young woman and spoke with conviction. "I understand now, humans are not just survivors. They are the future." She nodded, a faint smile on her lips. "Yes, and the galaxy will learn that soon enough." Above them, the stars continued to shine. Below them, civilization slowly rebuilt. Fleets flew, and humans moved with purpose, reshaping everything in their path. The Thalari watched, humbled and enlightened. They had learned the hardest lesson of all. Humans were not to be underestimated. For once awakened, they could change the fate of the universe itself. And Kale knew, deep in his heart, that the galaxy would never forget this day, the day the humans awoke, and the empire of Ash became the foundation of something far greater.